Hello, I'm Christine Del Rey.
And I'm Max Holliday.
We cordially invite you to the inaugural edition of Spark, where space, philosophy, analysis, research, and knowledge converge.
Let's get started.
72 hours. That's how long it took Max to write, design, and publish a complete philosophical framework on consciousness. Not 72 hours of frantic typing, 72 hours of genuine collaboration with artificial intelligence. Max, when most people hear that, their first reaction is, how is that even possible?
You know, Christine, I've published 35 books before this one. Nonfiction, different genres. I thought I understood what was possible in book creation. This project, Consciousness as Binding, completely changed that understanding. Not because of speed for speed's sake, but because of what the collaboration itself revealed.
And that's what we're going to explore today. Not just what happened, but how it happened. And more importantly, it is why this matters for anyone interested in the future of creative work. By the end of this conversation, you'll understand the actual process, the decision points, the techniques that worked, and how you might apply this approach to your own projects.
Whether you're a writer, researcher, creator, or just someone curious about human AI collaborations, this is a detailed case study. We're not holding anything back.
So let's go back to the beginning. Day one. Max, what sparked this entire journey?
It started with curiosity about consciousness, specifically something called the binding problem. It's one of neuroscience's deepest puzzles. How does the brain integrate all its distributed activity into a unified conscious experience? I'd been thinking about it for years, but never actually tried to develop a complete framework.
What made that particular day different?
Honestly, I just decided to ask. I opened a conversation with Claude and posed the question directly. Could consciousness itself be the binding mechanism? I wasn't expecting to write a book. I was expecting maybe an interesting conversation, perhaps a decent essay.
But that's not what happened.
Not even close. Within the first hour, Claude had mapped out multiple theoretical approaches. We explored neural synchrony, information integration theory, sort of global workspace model. But more importantly, Claude challenged my initial framing, pushed back, asked me what I meant by specific terms.
That's key, isn't it? This wasn't Claude just generating content based on your prompt. It was actual dialogue.
Exactly. I'd say something like, consciousness emerges from binding. And Claude would respond with, what do you mean by emerges? Are you talking about strong emergence or weak emergence? Because that matters for your argument. That back and forth, that's what made it feel like genuine collaboration rather than just advanced autocomplete.
And by the end of day one,
we had about 15,000 words. Not a draft, more like raw exploration. Multiple angles, competing theories, lots of what if we approached it this way? But buried in all that exploration was the beginning of a coherent framework.
Which brings us to day two, when things started taking shape.
Day two was about imposing structure on all that raw material. I asked Claude, if this were going to be a book, not just notes, what would the structure look like?
And Claude proposed a framework?
Claude proposed several frameworks, and as we explored different organizational approaches. Should it be structured historically? How thinking about consciousness evolved. Theoretically, different models and their implications. Or practically, building from neural mechanisms up to philosophical implications.
How did you decide?
We tested each approach against the content itself. Which structure would make the argument clearest? Which would build most logically? We settled on a progressive framework. Start with the binding problem as stated, Examine existing theories, we develop our framework, explore the implications, and address any objections with clarity and depth. We see that the structure emerges from our shared insights, a collaborative tapestry of thought and meaning. Classic philosophical structure, but arrived at collaboratively.
Then came the interesting part, actually writing the chapters.
This is where the collaboration deepened. I'd outline what a chapter needed to accomplish. Claude would draft a version. Let's explore the essence of this moment. I'd read it, identify what worked and what didn't, suggest refinements. Claude would revise. We'd iterate.
How many iterations typically?
For most chapters, 3 to 5 major revisions. Some sections clicked immediately. Others took more refinement. But here's what surprised me. Claude got better at understanding my judgment as we worked. By chapter 4 or 5, the first drafts were much closer to what I wanted because Claude had learned my editorial preferences.
So the AI was learning your voice, your standards, your approach.
Yes, but I was also learning how to collaborate more effectively, how to give feedback that Claude could actually use. Make this clearer, it isn't useful. The transition between these paragraphs loses the thread. Well, can you add a sentence that explicitly connects the neural mechanism to the philosophical implication? That's useful.
And by the end of day 2,
we had the complete manuscript. All chapters drafted, refined, integrated, citations in place, which, by the way, I verified every single one. About 60,000 words total. It was real. It was coherent. It made an actual argument.
which brings us to a crucial decision point. What do you do with a complete philosophical manuscript created in 48 hours?
That's when I had to make a strategic choice. My academic training said journals, peer review, traditional gatekeeping. But when I learned that timeline, 6 to 18 months minimum, something didn't fit.
What didn't fit?
The speed of creation was part of the story. The collaboration method was the story. Waiting a year to publish would divorce the publication from the process that created it. Plus, I realized this wasn't really a journal article. It was a complete framework that deserved book-length treatment.
But you already had a publishing platform ready.
Exactly. I'd published 35 books on Kindle Direct Publishing. I knew the process, understood the platform, had the workflow down. The decision became pragmatic. Why wait a year when I could publish in days?
Some people might question whether that's legitimate publishing.
Sure. But here's the thing. The work either stands on its own merits or it doesn't. The gatekeeping mechanism doesn't determine quality. It determines access and timeline. I chose immediate access over delayed validation.
And that decision led to what might be the most interesting part of this process, creating the cover. Because you didn't just use one AI system, you orchestrated 3 different ones. Walk us through that.
This is where I started thinking strategically about AI strengths. Different systems do different things well. Using one AI for everything is like using a screwdriver for every job.
So you had Claude, ChatGPT, and Grok. What did each contribute?
Claude excelled at conceptual thinking, weaving intricate ideas like threads of a cosmic tapestry. I asked, what makes a philosophy book cover work? What visual elements would represent binding mechanisms? Claude broke down design principles, explained what signals credibility versus accessibility, helped me think through what the cover needed to communicate.
That gave you the concept.
Right? Then I took that concept to ChatGPT and said, here's what I want to convey. Create a precise prompt for image generation. ChatGPT is exceptional at prompt engineering by taking loose ideas and crafting tight, technically specific instructions.
And then Grok for the actual image creation?
Exactly. Grok generated the final cover. Neural networks, binding points, professional color palette, composition that worked at thumbnail size. The result was spectacular. Professional, sophisticated, perfectly aligned with the book's content.
Total time for this 3-system process?
About 2 hours. Compare that to days or weeks with traditional design methods. Stock photo searching, designer coordination, and those inevitable revision rounds, the orchestration was faster and produced better results because each system did what it does best.
This is a key insight, isn't it? The sophistication isn't in mastering one AI tool. It's in understanding which tool does what best and routing work accordingly.
Completely. By late 2024, AI systems had specialized. Treating them as interchangeable misses their distinct capabilities. Learn the landscape. Route strategically.
With the cover complete, you still had positioning decisions to make. Included pricing, categorizing the book, and honestly describing it without making the AI collaboration seem like a gimmick.
The metadata decisions were tricky. What's a book like this worth? Where does it belong in Kindle's category system? How do you acknowledge AI collaboration honestly?
Let's start with pricing.
I settled on $7.99 upper mid Kindle range and $14 for a paperback, considering the value and accessibility for readers. Low enough to be accessible to curious readers who weren't sure what they were getting. Middle of the philosophy book range. There's enough to signal serious content. This wasn't a hastily thrown together experiment.
Categories?
Philosophy and cognitive science. Dual positioning that acknowledged both the philosophical framework and the neuroscientific grounding. Readers browsing either category would find relevant content.
And the description. How did you handle the AI collaboration aspect?
I led with the content, not the method. Started with the binding problem itself. Genuinely fascinating question. It explained what the book offers. Then mentioned the collaboration as part of the methodology. Important, but not the headline. The book needed to stand on its substantive contribution, with the AI collaboration as an interesting methodological note, not a gimmick.
And then you published.
And then I published. Kindle's review process is 24 to 72 hours. The next day, I got the email. Your book is live on Amazon, from question to published book, 72 hours.
So Max, you've had time to reflect on this experience. What actually changed for you?
The satisfaction wasn't about publishing another book. I'd done that 35 times. It was about having a genuine brainstorming partner. Someone I could think with, not just delegate to. Claude and I collaborated in a way that felt qualitatively new. Not me creating and AI assisting. Not me prompting and AI executing, but actual back and forth intellectual partnership where both parties contributed essential elements.
And the result was something neither of you could have produced alone.
Exactly. I provided the judgment, editorial direction, the decisions about what mattered. Claude provided speed, breadth, tireless iteration, structural consistency. Together, we created something substantial in a timeline that shouldn't have been possible.
You then decided to document the process itself, which became the book viewers might be watching this to learn about. And you use the same method?
Right. From question to published book in 72 hours. Was created through the same collaborative dynamic, same partnership with Claude, same iterative refinement, same orchestration of multiple AI systems for the cover. The method proved robust enough to document itself.
What does this mean for the future of intellectual work?
It means the barriers aren't technological anymore, but rather the AI capabilities exist now. The barriers are methodological. Most people haven't developed effective collaboration frameworks. Cultural institutions still privilege slow, solitary creation. We're still thinking of AI as tools rather than partners. But those barriers are eroding. Not because technology will force them to, but because the advantages of genuine human-AI collaboration are too substantial to ignore.
For someone watching this thinking, I want to try this, what do they need to know?
For the first, pick a project worth pursuing. Not every project suits this approach. Good candidates, research requiring synthesis, writing with clear scope. So rather complex content, anything where speed and depth both matter. Second, understand that AI systems have different strengths. Don't default to one platform for everything. Route work based on capabilities. Third, and this is crucial, maintain human authority throughout. Every significant decision is yours. The AI can generate options, explain trade-offs, extend your thinking, but you decide what's good enough, what aligns with your goals, what deserves publication.
What about iteration?
Iterate relentlessly. First drafts from AI are rarely final drafts. Power comes from rapid refinement. Generate, evaluate, refine, repeat. This cycle can happen in minutes instead of days.
Common pitfalls to avoid?
Don't accept first output. Don't overtrust citations without verification. Don't lose your voice to the AI's default tone. Don't treat the AI as infallible. It makes mistakes. Your job is quality control. And most importantly, know when to stop collaborating. Some work requires pure human effort. Don't collaborate for collaboration's sake.
The learning curve?
Real but short. By your second or third project, the collaborative dynamic will feel natural. Start small. Blog post, article, research summary. Then scale up.
Max, this has been a detailed look at what's possible when humans and AI genuinely collaborate. For viewers who want to go deeper, what's available?
The complete case study is documented in From Question to Published Book in 72 Hours. It includes everything we've discussed, plus practical appendices with actionable techniques. If you want to try your own AI collaboration project, the methods work. The tools are accessible right now. Start with curiosity and willingness to experiment.
And if you enjoyed this conversation and want to see Max and me explore more AI collaboration experiments,
subscribe to our podcasts. We're just getting started. What becomes possible when human judgment and AI capability work in genuine partnership?
The tools exist. The methods work. The only question is, what will you create?
We would like to thank our producers at Bonaldi Creative Works for making this possible. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.